Hello and welcome back to another market update. Today is Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. My name is Riley with Team CR Realty, and before we jump into inventory, if you like these videos, if you find them informational, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and comment down below if you have any questions or things to add to the conversation. Jumping right into inventory. Inventory is at 19,369 as of shooting this video. This is up from last week's 19,207, and that was a 0.8% increase in the units on the market. And this isn't a surprise, as we saw the CPI news come out last week, and this was not good news. This is not stuff or news that we wanted to see. We were expecting better news, but didn't get what we wanted to see when it comes to inflation, and that's what CPI measures. The interesting thing, though, is demand continues to go back up, and we'll talk about this a little later as we talk about the Cromford report as well as my own clients. One thing that is happening is sellers are realizing that the market isn't in a crash and that a correction is happening due to interest rates increasing at record levels. Sellers aren't wanting to chase the market down, and they would rather hold the property and rent it than sell it in a lot of places, and if they have the capability to do so with their money. Chasing the market is something I am seeing a lot with listing prices and not getting a ton of interest early on. So a house that goes on the market not getting interest the first couple weeks because it's price strong, they're chasing the market down, and buyers are seeing this market wear, and because of that they can get the price lower than what they could get it if it was priced lower in the first place. I saw this on a house that was listed at $310,000, and this was a single family home. Yes, they're still available here in Arizona. Okay, this house was listed at $310,000. I put in an offer for some clients of mine, and this house was really listed at below market value. In my opinion, market value is probably around $325,000, $330,000. Well, this thing ended up going for $345,000 as a purchase price, and it was because it created competition, right? They listed below what it was actually worth. This created competition and got more than what they would have, and this was in the case of a house that was priced, under market. And not every house you can do this with, right? The $1 million listing, you're not going to be able to have the same strategy with, because this house was listed at $310,000 and it's really, only worth $20,000 more. In reality, $310,000 is a very low purchase price in entry houses right now, right? So people have the capability to go more than that, and so this was just kind of a perfect storm is what kind of I saw. But still, this happening, and even with interest rates going up as much as they have, this is the fight that they got on the property that was priced under market, and this is happening as we are seeing demand continue to go up week over week, and we'll continue to talk about that as we get into the Cromford report. But speaking of interest rates, I wanted to weigh in on what the heck is going on right now and what they're doing, and I want to do this because they are the limiting factor as of right now. We went over what buying at the beginning of the year versus now with the same house price was like in the last video. And this difference is like something like $750 a month because of interest rate changes, right? They have shot up to over 6% as a national average, which is the highest amount since 2008. And there's a reason behind this, right? And it is because of the Fed and our buddy Jerome Powell. What they did was let the money printing machine go crazy, pretend like they were a freshman economics major at ASU and say inflation isn't something that's going to stick around. And well, what we're learning is inflation is something that is sticky and is stuck around. And because of this, we are now fighting housing costs like none other. And not only buying is getting more expensive, but because we're in a free market, as more renters enter into the rental market rather than buying, rent prices are going up as well. So this is not ideal. Living costs are going up in general, and we are at the mercy of the Fed, and that's the truth. And what it looks like is Jerome is changing positions as the sticky inflation continues to hang around. He wants to get inflation down to 2%, and we are sitting at around 8.2% right now. This is going to take a lot more quantitative tightening, as he would put it, or interest rate hikes until we are fully in a recession and consumers are done spending and the basic laws of economics come into play and demand goes down and supply is up. Prices will go back down again. Not a very bright future at the moment, but just kind of letting you know what I'm seeing. Something that is bright, on the other hand, is prices are coming down a little bit. And what this means is that people can get a good deal, especially if the seller is one that is chasing the market, like we were talking about at the beginning. You can even do things like rate buy downs that are going to get you into a lesser monthly payment, and something like a 2-1 buy down is popular right now. And what that is it lets you get 2% less the first year on your interest rate, 1% less the second year, and on the third year it goes to what the market rate is. So at an example of right now 6%, at the first year your interest rate is going to be 4%. The second year it's going to be 5%, the third year it's going to be 6%. And what you hope for is that on that year 3 mark, once you start, interest rates are going to be lower, and that you could refi at that point. They're either going to be lower and you can refi, like I said, get a better interest rate, better monthly payment, or they're going to be the same, or they're going to be higher, right? Those are the 3 options. If they're the same, you got cheaper rates for the first couple of years, and you can still, you're still able to afford that rate when it goes to 6%. If they're higher, you're like, I'm thankful I got in when I did. And if they're lower, refinance. So obviously refinancing costs money, and it costs money to do this program. But as sellers are maybe chasing the market, they're granting seller concessions. You can take some of this money that they're giving you and go use that for a rate buy down. Even if it's not a 2-1 buy down, it can just be a general rate buy down, where you can buy it down for the life of the loan. And these are getting, buyers are getting interested in these, and they're finding out more creative ways to get into the market. And that's why we're seeing, demand go up. Onto the Cromford report, as we talk about demand, we are at 105.0 for the CMI. And again, this is the relationship between buyers and sellers in the Phoenix market. You divide this number by 100 and you can get the number of buyers for every listing out there. So right now there's 1.05 buyers for every listing at a 105.0. This is a neutral market, and it seems like we are really getting and we are really settling into this number. We are at a 77.1 for supply and an 81 for demand, and both those numbers are up. But the interesting thing is, again, demand, I mentioned this last week and the week before in our market updates, demand continues to go up. This is the 5th week in a row it has gone up. You will actually see 4 cities improve on their CMI month over month on this chart here, and which is great to see stabilization happening. And those cities are PV or Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Chandler, and Tempe. So really just seeing kind of, luxury market, and then within Tempe and Chandler in the East Valley here go up month over month, which is not, it's not week over week. So we're not just seeing it's like a month over month increase, which is again just further signs of stabilization. And we're seeing these and we're seeing this in charts like this as well, which is listings under contract. And as these start to tick back up, this is a good sign. As I mentioned before, buyers are realizing sky's not falling. They can get a deal, maybe get some seller concessions, buy down that rate, and actually get into a home. Versus a year ago right now, first-time home buyers were not able to get into homes at the rates that they would be able to today, and they were paying above and over ask. They're paying 30, 50 grand over ask, and now you're getting seller concessions, seller paid closing costs, things like that, which is great. Not to mention being able to actually get an inspection on your home, which people were waiving, which is absolutely crazy. Never do that, please. But that is all that I have for today. If you like this video or find it informational, hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and comment down below if you have any questions or things to add to the conversation. As always, my name is Riley Rhodes with Team CR Realty, where Arizona real estate is seen.